Former Utica Mayor Tim Julian hanging with us today, and phone lines open at 624-0870. Is it Bob from Westmoreland?
Hi, how are you this morning?
Good, what's up?
I'm thinking about the hospital and where it's going to be built, and in proximation to the Mohawk River. Now, you look at South Carolina, the devastation down there. They never thought they're going to get that much rain. But in years past, in this, even going into winter, the railroad yards used to get flooded down in Utica. Of course, there's more control over things now, but I still think it would be better to build on higher ground.
Bob, I think I know where you're going with this, and we're all just going to hop on the gondola if that happens.
Yeah, I know. We can do Venice, right?
Right. Well, I mean, the gondola system is something that has been scoffed at, but we were talking with Tim during the break about that, and why not, right?
Hannah had gondolas for the original marina plan. It's right in the plan and the picture, gondolas.
Yeah.
Really? Was it?
Oh, yes,
yeah.
it was.
And I'm sure people laughed and thought he was crazy.
Then you try to go out and find some gondolas, and I'll.
Well, a private company
could
run it and maintain it too. That's the case with other gondola systems in downtown areas. I know that. Although I've read that they don't work too much. Like they've tried them in other downtown areas and failed for some reason.
Was there a specific route that the mayor had for
route?
route.
I'm pretty much think would be an out and back.
Yeah.
Around in a circle.
Around in a circle.
Well, it would be a unique icon for the city. There's no doubt about it. You were talking about the trolley 2J on a previous show, and how branding of neighborhoods is very important too. I know Michelle Truitt has been really heavily involved in that with Bag Square. Done a great job there, I think, with that. In West Utica, what do you think about the idea of branding that as the Brewery District or as Varick Street? Do you have a strong feeling on that one way or the other?
Yeah, I mean, look, Varick Street's always been near and dear to my heart, and the reason so is that as you look back, and I mean, if I look back at my time in the city of Utica, and I've been here my whole life, is that you need something to connect to. And you know, when kids leave for college, and you know, you want them to come back. That's the whole idea. Oh, my kids left and they never came back. So the question is, what brings them back? And you know, we need to have a young adult entertainment district. And you know, we put a lot of money into senior services, and rightfully so. We put a lot of money into our park system, and rightfully so. We need to have this type of you know, we need to make the city young as well. And I think as you look at places like Ocean Blue on top of the former HSBC building, now the Landmark building, I think that's one of those things that keeps the city young. And I think that's what you need. You need trendy spots for people to go to, that they don't have to bring their dollars to Syracuse. They don't have to bring their dollars to the Turning Stone Casino. They don't have to do these things. They can do them right here in the city of Utica. And I think that's what we want.
David mentioned, identifying, our neighborhoods, giving, our branding. And I think that we're doing that more in the city. We're focusing on the idea that it is the Bags Square area, Oneida Square project, Varick, the Brewery District downtown. Do you think that's the right approach? Do you think that'll help bring folks out and maybe connect with their community a little more?
Yeah, I think so. I think it certainly does. And, some of these areas have a negative connotation to them.
Sure.
Let's face it, whether, something happened, you say, talk to someone and say, well, Varick Street, and they may say, well, this happened there so many years ago. Well, okay, let's go down to the Brewery District instead. I mean, if you look at what Syracuse has done very successfully, the Armory Square area has taken those streets in there, and hasn't always been a great story to tell out of that area, but they made that Armory Square district, and they made it into a destination for people to go there and to enjoy themselves, and enjoy some nightlife and things like that, and I think that's important.
Sticking with that area, thoughts on the Irish Cultural Center coming to fruition?
Well, it'd be great to see it come to fruition. That was one of the last things I did was sign the papers to get that property there, and it took off pretty quickly. And with the foundation coming in, it's kind of stagnated from then. I think if we looked at the time, I know if I was in office when this arterial project would have gone through, then one of the things I would have asked the state to do would be, okay, you're already taking 70 properties off the tax rolls. Why don't we take another block off and create further parking for this brewery district over there, and do that and bring it right back and kind of clean up that neighborhood and some of the areas there, make it a little less intimidating for people who come down there to walk through these side streets to get to their cars later at night and things like that.
Do you think the connectivity of what we're trying to do, what they're trying to do with the arterial project of, connecting the west part of Utica, the west side of Utica to more of the downtown
area.
You think that's a good idea?
I think that'll pay dividends. Yeah, I really
good.
do. I think it'll pay dividends for everything from the Boilermaker Road Race and the finish of that, right through to Varick Street and some of these businesses going down to Varick Street in the Brewery District on Thursday nights. I think it's really a no-brainer. I think it's a great addition.
Robert Ashe and Frank DeRoss have done a great job with the Comets. What a story that has been. And of course, the redesign of the Odd on the outside. Can't wait to see that light show occur here.
It's crazy. I mean, Rob's a very forward thinker and came here with a lot of great ideas that were compounded through the years of him going around and visiting all these different cities. He was playing professional hockey, and for him to bring that all here, it's amazing how fortunate we are as the city of Utica to be able to have this resource, this natural resource, because we, it's in essence grew that here, and for him to come back and want to take that and do that here. So many other people would have gone other places and done that, and he's done it here. He's made this, that in and of itself. I mean, if you look at some of the things that have really brought the city up to the next level, and going back to recent years, whether it's back in the late '90s, the Adirondack Bank building, instead of being demolished, being taken over by Adirondack Bank, and recreating and bringing all that business back to downtown Utica. And whether you love it or hate it, one of the most hotly debated topics, probably in the city of Utica ever, is Hotel Utica.
Sure.
And we can say that, okay, gosh, the taxpayers are on the hook for this and all these other things. In essence, not exactly true. It's taxpayer. It's money that could go to other places, but it's not taxpayer money. It's not coming out of the taxpayer pockets. It's money that's coming in from the federal government that pays the freight on that right now, why they can't. But imagine a $2 million hole in the ground there. That led to Utica National coming downtown, which, in essence, now, the Comets coming in and revamping the Odd. Now this landmark building happening. I mean, all these things that brought the city of Utica and the downtown area, especially the city of Utica, to the next level are something that you can't look at and just disregard and say, well, this was wrong or that was wrong, because it's really, I really think that without these steps along the way, these other things wouldn't have happened.
It's one thing to have a successful hockey team in our climate here, but there's some talk of maybe a new baseball stadium and attracting a minor league baseball team in a sport that is maybe on the wane, baseball, and in this climate. Is that a good project too, do you think, or not?
I'd say bring in an MMA stadium. That's always on the plan.
Right.
Duke it out.
Let's bring that in.
Well, we got to get that legalized first.
Yeah, got to get it legalized in New York State first.
Yeah.
No, people have talked about the baseball stadium. I think, you have to do those numbers again. You have to make sure that the numbers are there to fill that stadium. Unfortunately, there's a lot of competition for people's time, especially during the summer months, of all these things that are going on. And that's, you need to get people in the seats. First and foremost, that's the thing, is if, you could bring them the greatest team going, you could bring in, a great new stadium, you could bring in all these things. If you don't get people in the seats, then it's all for naught. So I think that those are important things, and but they do add to the climate. I think we have a lot of great college level sports and athletics in this area that people can go in and take part in, and it's a very inexpensive night out, and I think that that's something that should be looked at as well. I mean, really. We were deemed to be a hockey town when Utica College came back in and created the hockey scene.
Gary does a great job there.
People said, "Oh, look, maybe Utica will support hockey again," and we did. And when Rob came in with the Comets, take it to the next level, and the fact that those two can coexist on the ice down there is a great story in and of itself.
That's true.
And that's that just goes to show that this we can support it. If we're behind it, we support it.
Bring back the Blue Sox.
Bring back the Blue Sox. I got the hat.
There you go. Maybe one question before we let you go. Public safety. What do you think? Things have changed in the area for the good, the bad, the worse. I know there's idea of bringing back in the news today a second armadillo. What are your thoughts and your past time? And it's been 8 years since you've been in office. What do you think?
Look, there's always changes. There's always everything's going to be in flux no matter what. And unfortunately, a lot of times running city government is like that game you played as a kid where you push one pin in and another pin comes out. Sure. Things are expensive. Public safety is a very, very expensive insurance policy. You hope you never need it, but you do. And you don't know where you're going to need it or how much of it you're going to need. You could have a fire department of 50 people that would in turn, be fine until you have that huge fire that you would have needed 75 people for. Again, it's that insurance policy. That's why we put the ambulance service into place. So again, we can have more personnel when necessary, and at the same time offset those costs.
Sure.
But to be in the top chair and look at the city of Utica government and say to yourself, well, I got to focus on public safety. You can't. You can't unfortunately take all your time and say, I got to focus on public safety, because you just can't. There's other things that are going on. There's economic developments going on. There's the infrastructure needs that are going on. There's neighborhood revitalization that's going on. There's trying to attract new business that's going on. There's trying to look at the latest and greatest technology that maybe you can bring that to your city and have that going on. There's all the community events that go on that you need to be really a cheerleader for. There's all these things that are occurring and wrapping around you at the same time. And to say that you need to look at and focus on one of those things altogether, there's just not enough hours in the day to sit there and say, I'm going to focus uniquely upon that. And I think that's a difficult part of the job that people don't see. When you look at it, I mean, there's a lot of times that people would call up and say, oh, we're looking for a donation for this. And I'd say, well, I got to see what I got. Well, don't you have an account for that? No, you don't have an account for that. As mayor, I think it was literally, close to $10,000 of personal checks I wrote out to go to different events and things like that per year.
Right.
And as you look at stuff like that, it's like it starts to add up after a while between that and your, all the other expenses that go along with the job. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy job. It's not a job that is for the faint of heart. But, if you go there and you go there with all the right intentions, it could be an enjoyable way to spend a few of your years.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a real struggle drawing some opinions and thoughts out of you today. I really appreciate it.
They've been bottled up for 8 years.
There you go.